Next up is probably the hardest component we have, and I think you're going to find that it's not that bad anyways. So these are NPN transistors, and I'm sure you can see the little black lump, but what I want you to see is, here, let's just bring the whole board up for contrast and focus. Look at the pins. So the pins are very tiny on these, and they're going to end up going right here, like so. Okay, so not anything different than what we've done, just a little bit tinier. Now, before I get to soldering this, I want to do a quick little review on what this is. I talked about it, like I said, in the video a couple back there on the schematic, but just kind of good to mention it again. These, what you're seeing in here, there's 3 pins, and it has base, emitter, and collector. That's the names of them. And what happens is the base is the trigger for the switch. Right? Again, reflect back on the other video. We have one part of this switch that is like the button that you're pushing. We have the power coming in. You push the button and then power can go out and go through. So that's what we're looking at here. And the layout is base, emitter, and then the collectors over here. Now, you don't need to memorize that right now, but when we get down the road and we're doing some testing, or if something doesn't quite go right and we need to follow the flow of things, it's important to know, well, the schematic, right? And then you know where the trigger is, so that's the base. And so the thing that triggers the transistor is what? So here's your quiz. What pushes the button? Well, that is this over here. So this is going to be, here's the Arduino. One of the pins here is going to trigger this transistor. So this pad here on the transistor should be conductive over to one of these pins over here. And if you can look at the schematic, or just hunt around and guess, you'll find that. Okay. Then the collector, which you'd have to look at the schematic to see, ends up going up to one of the 100 ohm resistors that we soldered previously and the LED. And so then you could follow the path through to there. So it starts with the LED. It starts with, actually, it goes through a resistor, through an LED. This is really hard, I understand, for you to get with just me waving this around. But it goes through the resistor, through the LED, and then stops right here at the collector. When you trigger the base, it'll let current flow through to the emitter and out to ground, and then the light will come on. All right, I got my solder right here. Got that in frame. Clean my soldering iron off really good in the scrubby pad. And get just a little bit on the iron. Get in here. Grab it on the sides like so. Get it right on the pads. Sometimes they have like a little bit of height to them that makes it move around. And just come in, sizzle and touch it. Then you see the little blob right there. Wait. Give it 3 seconds and let go. It frequently takes a little bit longer than most people think to solidify, and then you move away and the part moves. So that looks really good. So it looks like it's sitting right in the middle there where it's supposed to. So we'll flip this around. Same story as all the rest. Hit the back edges. Again, just a little blob right there and a little blob. Let it sit for a little bit right there. And if I want to, I can kind of do the same deal I did before, a little bit more flux, and then touch it again. The flux will also help wick it underneath. So if you think that maybe you didn't, like you got a blob, but it's maybe just sitting on top of the pin, then maybe that would help too. So we'll do this and clean it up, take a look at it, and then do all the rest. So there is that transistor. There we go. You can see that pretty good, like that. All right, let's do one more here, and then I will go ahead and go into speedy motion and finish it all off. So we blob a little bit on there. Go find the transistors. So here's the strip they come in. Be very careful, as usual. Knock out the little guy. Flip it over. There's already a little blob in that corner. You see that? This earlier, I noticed when I did it, I was cleaning something off and I just brushed the soldering iron over the top of here, so I got a little blob. Now, if you do this, or especially if you have to desolder a pad, this is going to cause it to sit crooked when I set this down here. And if I solder this one here, it's going to stay probably kind of crooked. You can kind of force bend it a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this around. There we go. And I'm going to solder on this side. This is kind of weird to explain, but I'm trying to grab it as much on the top as possible so that when I push down on this, I can push it into that blob. So I'll liquefy that, push it down into the spot there. I felt it kind of sit down. Let go, 1, 2, 3, let go, and then we're good. So grab some more solder, catch the next one, flip it around. So that's pretty good. I come by, hit it again, and then on to the next.